Hey everyone, Max Keller here. You may have seen some of my videos online, and I want to talk a little bit about one-on-one buy calls, sales appointments, right, to buy people's houses versus speaking to a group. One-on-ones, and I hear a lot of different stories. My students, some of them buy over the phone, some of them buy in person. Every real estate investor and, every office has kind of their own policies or strategies. But, at some point, people got to get eyes on the house, most likely, right? And, what I found is that there's a lot of time eaten up by going to people's houses who really weren't a fit. Even if you ask them all the magic questions, or people not showing up, or sometimes there's such a gap to fill that it's taking 2 or 3 hours to be at somebody's house to really go through everything, and that can really eat up time. And even if you have 1 or 2 or 3 people on the acquisitions team or more that are helping you buy, it's still the window time is a lot of wasted time. What can we do to decrease that? And so what some people's responses is to make the whole process even less personal and just buying over the phone. I don't know if that's better or worse. That's not the strategy that we use. But what happened with me was I started speaking to motivated sellers in a group. And it was, really unexpected, actually. And it's been amazing. So, because of my book, I was asked to speak at a local church, just a little local church group. It wasn't anything huge, as the subject matter expert on senior housing. When I got there, I was, definitely a little bit nervous, which, normally, I was a teacher, before I got into real estate. So normally I'm not nervous, but I don't know, for some reason I was. I remember, we had like a little breakout room for us, and I didn't have, slides. I didn't have a projector. I didn't have any of that. All I had was basically a box of my books, and I gave one to, everybody who came, and I just pretty much opened the book and we started teaching out of it. And I was, showing them just what was in there and just going, as much education as I could for 60 minutes. And I remember after my presentation, people were coming up and talking to me, and they were like, "Man, we really appreciate this." There's like a couple ladies crying, and I was like, "Oh, did I say something wrong?" And they're like, "No, this is like amazing. We just we didn't know any of this stuff, and we're so confused, and now we're not." I was just like, "Man, this is great." And some of them came up to me and asked me about my services. There was about 20 people there, the first time that I did it. And I even booked a couple of appointments while I was there to go look at houses, which obviously was sweet. And then they wanted a copy of my book, and I was just kind of blown away by the response. I didn't know how engaged they would be, and it was a small church group, 20 people, but to me, when I left, I felt like I was on cloud nine. I felt like I had just hosted, I don't know, like the Academy Awards or a TED Talk. It felt amazing. And so I wanted to do it more and more. And what I was noticing is, when you're an author, it makes it really easy to get speaking, gigs, whether it's live or virtual. We're doing more virtual now, because event organizers, whether it's, senior centers or civic things, or, business leader clubs, or, probate attorney meetings. It's like every business has meetings, and they're always looking for speakers and people to present and teach and train and educate. And so when you're an author, it makes it just really easy for them to choose you. A couple times, it's pretty funny. They would ask me, local people, local groups, really good groups, like where it's either my motivated sellers are like there, or it's the people who are influencers for my motivated sellers. I did another educational video about that called synergistic non-competitive influencers. So that's, you can check that out or try to track it down. But so it's very valuable for our business. And they're like, "Well, how much do you charge?" And I was like, "Oh man, I should have thought this through. $0." And they're like, "Oh, really? Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Yeah." I go and for the people who are engaged and they want a copy of the book, I'll even give them an autographed copy of the book, complimentary, just for attending. And they're like, "Wow, that is so nice of you." And I was like, I actually probably would have paid to speak here. I'm booking a couple of buy calls right there, and it's a 1-hour presentation. That's a pretty good deal. And then when you go over to their house, it's just Like they see you different. Like you're not just like the guy from the postcard, you know, they're like, wow, it's you again. But instead of the whole group, you're just here at my house. And I'm like, this is good. I like this. You know, that may not be for everybody. You got to definitely want to create win-wins and, you know, have a servant heart. And I mean, yeah, there's definitely times where people ask me questions and they're probably never going to, you know, do any real estate business with me, but it helps, you know, your local reputation. It helps with referrals. And, you know, what was cool was at these events, is everybody went home with a copy of my book. And so it's like, maybe they're not going to sell right now. I mean, the 2 people did. You know, what about the other people? Like, my book's not going anywhere. You know, like it used to be, I give them my business card, right? Well, what happens to business cards? They get lost, you know, or if I send them a piece of mail, sometimes they would keep them, put it in their like roll top desk and be like, I saved this, you know? They open their drawer and you're like right there on the top. Okay, that happens. But with the book, they're not putting it in a drawer. You know, they're putting it on their coffee table or on their bookshelf or their nightstand. And when they have a need, you know, then they can reach out. And what we found is more people, just period, are going to sell eventually, but not right this minute. And the later it is, after you first contact them, if they have a way to follow up with us or our students, they're just not calling as many other people. And, you know, the less people we have there, just the better it is, the better outcome, and just the smoother the transaction, the more fun it is for everybody. So that's a little thing that I've been up to that's been working really well. And, you know, I mean, it's like, why would you want to go 1-to-1 when you could go 1-to-20 or 1-to-30, or, you know, with online, it could be 1-to-100 people. And it's just all about, you know, what opened the door was, I mean, being an author, but, you know, leading with value, leading with education, teaching, and there's a huge opportunity now. I mean, people are freaking out. There's income changes. People are worried about, you know, foreclosure. Can you be the local person that's in your city, that's positioned correctly, and you're doing, you know, webinars on how to keep your house, you know, what to do if you lose your job, how you can keep your house for at least 12 months. I mean, are people going to tune into that? And if you really give them good value, are they going to want to work with you? I mean, those are the questions you have to answer, but that's what we do. And I hope you got some good ideas from this video and put them into action. All right. Take care. Bye.